The government is behind an evil secret project known as Project Ratuz, where they use rodents' DNA and use them to experiment on humans, creating monstrous abominations of human and animal hybrids. It isn't clear why they perform such experiments and what their final goal is, other than just the sake of science and results. But the prisoners who have been placed in these top-secret facilities cannot comprehend the cruelty of this organization, authorized and funded by the government. The prisoners' pasts are not clear, and it's not clarified if they actually committed any crimes even, or if they simply had the bad luck of turning into human experiment subjects for the government. These facilities are guarded by armed personnel and soldiers, and they shoot at will at prisoners on sight. The human subjects who are imprisoned are simply labeled in numbers, with their humanity stripped from them, not being given any name. The story starts through the perspective of one of these prisoners known as 5. He has an eye patch seemingly from previous experiments conducted on him. These prisoners are then escorted to an experiment room where a couple of scientists use serums to inject each individual with. While being handcuffed and restrained to their chairs, the forefront scientist injects prisoner number 1, who instantly vomits and bleeds, dying on the spot. The scientist nonchalantly and without a care picks up another serum, moving on to inject the second prisoner. What is interesting in here is the diverse reaction of the prisoners. Prisoner 2, who is next in line, is terrified, observed from the shock on his face, while prisoner 4 and 6 try not to look at all, while number 5 looks with dismay and not much other expression. But on the other hand, prisoner number 3 smiles widely as if being psychotic, even though he fully knows that he is next in line and could shortly die. Injecting prisoner 2 with the serum causes his body to reject the substance, with his head growing legs and detaching from his body, running away as if being a spider. This shocks the prisoners except for number 3, who seems to have lost his mind, laughing uncontrollably like a maniac, displaying a completely deranged behavior. The armed guard gets distracted by prisoner 2 and chases after him to capture him. As the scientist injects prisoner 3, he has better luck as he mutates into a large and menacing rat-human hybrid who instantly breaks out of his cuffs and strangles the forefront scientist. He then proceeds to use his tail as a powerful whip and smash the skull of the younger scientist with multiple hits. In the meantime, prisoner number 4 uses his chance to break out of his restraints and free his buddies, number 5 and 6. On that note, 5 looks at the scientist as if momentarily thinking that he should help out, but as it's too late, he runs away with the surviving prisoners. It's not fully clear if number 3 became so aggressive after being injected, or if he had the tendency and nature to become as such, as we can hear him let out a similar evil laugh when killing the scientist compared to how he laughed seeing the aftermath of what happened to number 2. As the trio run out, they hide in lockers while the armed guard is shooting towards number 2, who manages to also run away, going into a ventilation duct. That's when number 3 rushes in, with the armed guard getting terrified from the sight of him, running away. Number 3 quickly shifts his attention towards the hidden prisoners, going to check the lockers when all of a sudden number 2 gets out of the ventilation duct, causing the mutated prisoner go after him. This gives the trio their golden ticket to get out of the lockers and explore the facility to find a way out. They quickly talk amongst each other, with number 5, the protagonist, making a light yet uncalled for joke when number 4 tries to calm everyone, saying that it's their golden opportunity to escape. As they try to access the staff room, which could potentially have useful tools to escape, they notice it is locked and they need to find an access card. They move on to explore the facility when they encounter an armed guard smoking, having their back to them, being distracted. Number 5 takes this opportunity and uses the chain of his cuffs to strangle the guard, which leads to him falling and dying. 5 seems to be in survival mode, doing anything to live. The trio pass a number of different prisoners who are waiting for their doomed fate when eventually the trio reach a room, finding another scientist with what seems to be vats of certain unknown liquid, being green as if being acid. They try to plead with the scientist to help them escape, but the scientist called Dwight explains he isn't here with his own will, but he is threatened as otherwise the government would kill his family. This portrays how many of the staff might be even forced to be here as they don't have any other choice and have their families threatened. The scientist runs away with number 5 running after him. That's when he comes across what seems to be a lake full of acid which could melt him instantly. Using a durable barrel, the White gets across the lake, with 5 doing the same. As the White gets off the barrel, the Ratman comes out, killing the White with a heavy item. 5 is lucky as he is still in the barrel in the acid lake, observing the murder from a distance. The Rat takes the valve that they needed to refill the vats, then jumps into the acid lake in order to kill 5. That's when he tries to use his tail to impale 5 and then quickly runs after him, but 5 manages to outrun him. The Rat drops the valve, losing interest in it, which is perfect for 5 as he picks it up and rejoins with the group. He then refills the pods, which act as a puzzle, opening a door. As the group goes through the door, number 6 gets captured by a soldier who puts him in the security room. Number 4 and 5 decide to carry on as there isn't much choice that they have left. They decide to split up as they need to find 2 different items to open a door. What is strange is that this facility has a range of different booby traps and a medieval type of traps with spikes and dropped weights, including remains of humans who were trapped here. As they go through the door, they manage to see their friend, number 6, who has been ordered to be executed, being strapped to an electric chair. 5 manages to find a way to 6, strangling a guard, being left with 2 options in order to save 6. There are 2 buttons, a red one and a blue one. Choosing the blue one would electrocute 6, but the red one will set him free. After managing to miraculously save 6, they regroup with number 4. Managing to find a security room, they kill the security, observing the cameras. When they find the handcuff keys, finally managing to uncuff themselves, which will help them to move freely and with better range. As 5 separates from the group to go through the ducts and open a door for them from the other side, the Ratman appears, chasing after him. During the chase, we find small suspended cages with prisoners and a pool filled with blood, which shows how drainage pipes lead the blood down here, depicting how many thousands of people the government has been imprisoning, performing experiments on, and then killing. The atrocity of the scale is simply unimaginable. 5 manages to lock a door and keep the Ratman away for at least now, entering the lab where there are walking corpses and mind-controlled staff as they had performed some sort of experiment, creating mind-controlling parasites which breach the containment and now have turned against themselves. Managing to bypass these entities, 5 gets to a control room where he finds a staff member hiding in a locker. Here we meet Pamela, a scientist who explains that she was forced to work here against her own will and perform genetic tests on prisoners. The government is very evil in this universe and forces scientists to perform experiments. Pamela pleads with 5 to work together and escape, giving him a soldering machine to solder different circuit breakers to make the elevator functional, which is supposed to lead them to the exit. Managing to fix all the breakers and getting back to Pamela, she explains now they have access to the entire library and will be able to find the elevator. Pamela stays behind to figure things out while 5 goes around to find his friends. He gets in a teleportation pod and gets to 4, who expresses his happiness seeing him. 4 quickly explains that they need to find some medallions to open a door, leaving 5 behind, teleporting through the device. Not much later, 5 uses the pod himself and explores the facility when he meets another scientist called James who knows 5, explaining that he was planned to be tested on in Project Ratuz. James gives 5 an access keycard and tells him there's not much time and they need to get out of here. When all of a sudden, James transforms into a monster himself, chasing after 5. It's not too difficult for 5 to outrun him, which seems to be the end for James, who unfortunately has the same fate of number 3, turning into a monster, not in control of himself. As he goes further, the transformed James comes back, chasing after 5 and cornering him in a room when 5 believes it is his certain death, but all of a sudden he sees a friendly face, number 6, who rushes in and impales the monster, saving 5's life, returning the favor, as 5 saved him from certain execution. 6 leaves 5, trying to run another errand himself. Quickly enough, 5 finds the elevator and gets in, with the Ratman using his tail, trying to impale him. He doesn't seem to give up, being on his tail throughout the game. As he gets off the elevator, the Ratman catches him, trying to kill him, but another experimented on prisoner, number 2, who turned into a spider, shows up, distracting and troubling the Ratman, saving Five's life as the Ratman lets go of him. Five gets into another elevator which malfunctions and drops him through some stories, but he luckily manages to land on some soft trash bags. Now Five is in the sewers, where he finds all the rejects and disposed of people. There are animal humanoids, clearly showing that they are experimented on people who were dumped here, or they went down there on their own accord. They have managed to set up a little community with a bar and even musicians playing. It seems as if they are trying to make the best of their unfortunate fate. Here we meet Mickey, a mouse man turned bartender who takes Five to Master, who seems to know how to help Five find a way out of here. Mickey, unlike number 3, is very friendly and intelligent, not hostile. Showing the way to Five, he goes through some pitch-black corridors, bypassing some blind monster hybrids, eventually finding the Master in a room. Master is a wise old humanoid who explains that they are trapped in an island with the facility built somewhere so remote. The government wasn't willing to make it easy for their dirty secrets to be exposed. However, Master has a speedboat which needs an engine. There's only one that could work and fit in, an engine to a car which Five needs to retrieve and install on the boat. If they manage to do all that, they might have a good chance of leaving this cruel island behind. As Five takes Master's advice and guidance, he goes on to find the engine. On his way through the sewers, he finds Pamela, who is suspended by chains inside the tank, which is filled with water, with the Ratman, prisoner 3 being the culprit. He has that nasty evil laugh whenever he kills or tries to kill someone, seemingly being intelligent and intentionally doing all of this. Five quickly shuts off the valves and saves Pamela, who calls him her hero and hugs him with passion. Five instructs her to go to Master's room and wait for him there, as it will be safe. All Five needs to do now is to find the engine and get out of here with all the others. Just as he gets closer to the car, Ratman is there, who tries to attack him, but the transformed James, who became a monster, shows out of the blue, revealing that he didn't actually die. This gives Five enough time to get in the car, with the Ratman managing to seemingly kill James this time around. Just then, Five manages to start the car and ram the Ratman into a wall with it. This seems to incapacitate the Ratman, at least for a short while, with Five taking the engine with him. In a happy turn of events, getting back to the Master's room, he finds the Master, Pamela, 4 and 6, all waiting for him. He climbs a ladder and gets to the dock, where he installs the engine on the speedboat. Unfortunately, Master stays behind, as there doesn't seem to be a world waiting for him out there anymore, wishing the prisoners and Pamela the best of luck. This also means all the other prisoners are left behind, but this is a small speedboat which won't have a lot of capacity. Maybe they will bring back some people to save them when they get to the mainland. Just as the group tries to get to the boat, the annoying Ratman shows up, laughing manically, trying to kill the group. The Ratman takes the prisoners one by one, trying to kill them, but they all rush at him and help each other when eventually Pamela rushes towards him, injecting him with a reversing serum, making 3 get back to his human form. The group takes the unconscious body of 3 with them on the boat, and out of the blue, 2 appears as well, with his spider form getting on the boat. Pamela, in happiness and gratitude, kisses 5 and embraces him, all sailing across the unforgiving waters in hopes of a better future and freedom. On that note, this brings us to the end of the video. This was the best ending, with some other endings revolving around who dies or who doesn't. As always, it's been your host Star. Thanks for being here, and I will see you on the next one. Have a fantastic day.